On the other side, it is the world-famous Jaguar radio broadcast. Yes, indeed, it is the world-famous Jiggy Jaguar radio broadcast, coast to coast and border to border on TuneIn, iTunes, Radio Loyalty, Stitcher, and a brand new Jiggy Jaguar app available in the App Store. Tuesdays, hear us on the mix. Also, find us at jiggyjaguar.com. And I was out at the Kansas Wrestling Revolution show, the debut show. Professional wrestling returns to Salina for the very first time in a long time. And we had a blast. But one of the things that I want to talk about is the show itself. These guys, from the backstage to the in-ring product, it was an interesting deal. And I'll tell you, here's the thing about this. This stuff takes time. But I didn't think it was going to be that quick. I didn't realize it was going to be as quick as it was. I got to be honest. The very beginning of the show, they let their VIPs in, and I got to be honest. You know, they didn't have a lot of VIP tickets that they'd sold, but they made it worth the while for the VIPs. The VIPs got what they needed out of the thing, and so it was a good show. However, we did a couple videos where we had promoted merch and we promoted tickets on sale, all these things, trying to get folks in the door. Well, then they opened the doors. And once again, people start trickling in. Not a big deal. And you're thinking, man, revolutions take time. Revolutions didn't start in a day, is what I kept telling everybody. But then, I turn around at one point, whole place is packed. They literally had sold 300 tickets. They literally, the day of the show, they sold 300 tickets. It was absolutely amazing. People trickled in and trickled out. It was a hell of a deal. There was people coming from as far as Hoisington, Kansas for this thing. Great band. Some of the regulars that you see at some of these indie wrestling shows, some of the guys that I've seen at Bad Boys of Professional Wrestling, they were at this show. This thing was amazing. Great stuff. And then on top of this, the backstage environment was absolutely refreshing, as they say. It was refreshing, as they say. The wrestlers not only, I don't want to share a little bit of inside baseball stuff here, but I guess I will. The wrestlers not only got paid, which some of the wrestling companies I've been to, that doesn't sometimes happen, but they got paid as soon as they got in the door. They got paid up front. Well, that's part of the reason is because they had sponsors, kids. When you have actual paying sponsors, you can pay your talent the minute they walk in the door. They were all very nice. Everybody was talking to everybody. There was a lot of... It was like a family atmosphere. A lot of good things happening at this KWR show. I got to see my buddy Jimmy the Funk. He was running around backstage having a good time. There was the Tony's Pizza Event Center people. They were extremely happy with the event itself. There was a little bugs to be worked out, I think, with the some of the seating, some of the way the VIPs were done, some of the reserves. But that is a venue thing. That is not a wrestling thing. One good thing about it, didn't see any lice running around, didn't see any bed bugs, didn't see any roaches running around. It was a good time. I saw a lot of people at this show that you don't normally see at professional wrestling events in Salina or anywhere for that matter. So you're bringing in some more fans. A lot of kids in the audience. So the guys who had masks and were selling masks, they made some money on this evening. Every little kid bought a mask. They had glow sticks. They had all the usual, as they used to say, tchotchkes at some of these events. They had the usual stuff. It was a Halloween-themed event. They had a great costume contest. They had a kid who was dressed up like the Ultimate Warrior, he had a muscle suit on, which was kind of hilarious. You take the muscle suit off, you just leave the Ultimate Warrior wig on. He could be from the band Nelson from the 1980s. There's probably a lot of people listening to this going, who the hell is Nelson? But look him up. They didn't make enough money in the 80s. They are now going on the road playing their mom and dad's old music. The Nelson Twins. This is not about trashing the Nelson Twins. This is about KWR, putting them over, talking about them. I got to meet Zero for the very first time, which, funny little thing about Zero is apparently there was a lot of people that when I used to trash the other guys, which we're not even going to talk about them because they're barely a wrestling company at this point, from what I've heard. Apparently, the guys that were in the back on this other wrestling company, apparently Zero worked for them for a little bit, and he was telling me all the nasty things that I had supposedly said, which I wished I would have said half of those things. But I don't know. We see you, Billy. We see you, buddy. We see you out there. Lots of things going on. It was a hell of a deal. Got to catch up with my buddy Outlaw. I understand that he is training people now, which is pretty awesome. So lots of things going on. It is a heck of a deal. The production itself, was amazing. Great event. They had a professional sports broadcaster as their ring announcer. And he was a very cool guy. He you could tell he wasn't a traditional radio guy because he wasn't a fucking dick. So that was nice to see. We had our own little area. We had all sorts of different things we were doing. People were part of the show. They got all sorts of different people involved. The crowd reaction was great. The stuff that they did with the Kansas Wesleyan University folks was amazing. Lots of cool stuff going on. Jaron Bell was there to sing the anthem. I'll tell you, this was a professional wrestling event. And then after it was over with, of course, everybody after the success, and they had to take their victory lap. So we have some shoot promos that are up on Facebook at facebook.com/the Jaguar or on my personal Facebook page. The Natester at one point decided that he was calling everybody out. He called out the Mangler. He called out Kyle King. He called everybody out. It was a hell of a deal. It was a great show. Merrick McMichaels at the end, along with the man, JT Money. They had some stuff to say. So good stuff overall from KWR, and I'm looking forward to more shows from these guys. Their next big event is Wreck the Halls in December. It is going to be at the Tony's Pizza Event Center. You can get tickets and information by calling the Tony's Pizza Event Center, going Tony's Pizza Event Center on Facebook. I believe they also have a website, Tony'sPizzaEventCenter.com. Check that out today. And KWR, and I'll tell you, they are on a roll. Hell of a roll heading into their December show. What in the world do you think is going to happen coming up next? I don't know. Also, there was a challenge thrown out, kids. There was a challenge thrown out for a couple matches. So if you're keeping up with professional wrestling as it returns to Salina, Kansas, check it out today. It is The Purge, and we had a hell of a time. I believe they still have. If you missed the event, or you were too stupid to buy tickets, or you were busy out hanging out at a video store, passing out candy, whatever you were doing, go over and check it out on Twitch. We are going to take a break here on our broadcast. Actually, wait a second. As I look at the clock, that wraps things up for today. And we will see you next time. It is the world famous Jiggy Jaguar Radio broadcast.